Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. Another candid video has surfaced of Cindy Hyde-Smith in a November 3rd campaign stop. The senator can be heard telling supporters in Starkville that, quote, there's a lot of liberal folks in those other schools who that maybe we don't want to vote. Maybe we want to make it a little more difficult. And I think that's a great idea, end quote. Now, her campaign says that she was joking, and Hyde-Smith herself asks on social media if it's okay to still have a sense of humor. Her supporters agree. Her detractors are calling the comments tone deaf. Victoria Bailey spoke with one man who remembers when voting was a matter of life or death. She joins us live in the studio now. Hey, Vicki.
Hey, Scott. The memories of those days are still vivid for a generation of Mississippians, and is because of the heartbreaking struggle that the same generation will always cast their ballot.
The harsh fact is that in many places in this country, men and women are kept from voting simply because they're Negroes. Their cause must be our cause, too.
President Lyndon B. Johnson, more than 50 years ago, on the law that would allow all men and women a vote.
So many people lost their life for the vote. Some of me were shot down for to get to the poll. But now we got the privilege and go and vote.
Local pastor Joe Peoples remembers a time when voting was a privilege only few enjoyed, definitely not a right for all.
We didn't have the privilege until 1964, where before then had to come up with a thing they call poll tax. And you pay that, I think it was $2, then they ask you a whole lot of questions, maybe how many marble in a bowl and all of that stuff. And to me, it didn't make sense. And I told my dad once when I was small, I said, once I get grown, I'm definitely going to pay that poll tax so I can vote, because I know voting is important.
Peoples grew up back then, and he won't forget the struggle. Peoples says he brings lessons from that time to show young folks making your voice heard is worth fighting for.
It was actually here in Mississippi, it was hard, because you want to vote, but you couldn't vote. So many of our others lost life. Some were beaten, some was with a water hose, and dogs sicked on them for this right. Now, I tell the young people, now you got the privilege, now you go and vote.
Peoples says after seeing the sacrifice then, today you can always count on him casting a ballot in every election.
We use too many excuses, because I always say now, if you going to the doctor office, you going. If you going to the bank, you're going, whether rain and storm or whatever, you going. And so that same way should be voting. If you don't vote, you don't have no right to talk about no one. I always tell them, if something don't go like you is the cause because you didn't go vote.
Now, the runoff election will be Tuesday, November the 27th. Scott.